Our friend Armando Salguero of the Miami Herald recently suggested the Dolphins may be plotting a move up to the top of the draft to get Joe Burrow. We reported weeks ago that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, wants Joe Burrow, and that thought kind of subsided during the chatter in late January, early February, whether or not Joe Burrow wants to avoid playing for the Bengals. The bottom line is Stephen Ross still wants Joe Burrow, and maybe there will be an effort to trade up to get him. Peter, is this a good idea? When you consider the draft capital that presumably is going to have to be surrendered. Remember, it was 2012 where Washington gave up the 6th overall pick and 2 additional first-rounders and a second-round pick to go from 6 to 2 to get RG3. Is it worth giving up multiple first-round picks and more to get the quarterback that you want and only move up a total of 4 spots from 5 up to number 1?
Mike, the only way that if I were the Bengals that I would consider this, even consider this, is if the Miami Dolphins said, we'll give you 4 ones for the first pick in the draft. And what that means is you use 5, 18, and 26 this year, and whatever your 1 is next year. Okay? So, and what that would mean, because I think we all would probably think that the Dolphins will be somewhere around 500 this year. So let's just say, I'll ask you this question in a practical manner. If you had the first pick in the draft this year and you thought you had your quarterback of the future in Joe Burrow, if you had that, would you trade it for 5, 18, 26, and 16 next year? Would you do that?
Yeah, and you know what? That's the right way to look at it. You're not trading for the spot, you're trading for the player. And during the season, we had an extended debate on which players in the NFL you currently would trade 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick for, because Jalen Ramsey netted that. When you think of it as an unproven commodity, that's a lot to give up, Peter. You better be damn sure he's the guy. And also, maybe in this crazy upside-down world that we're in where you can't do as much as you'd like to with the draft, with the preparation and the planning for the draft, maybe those picks aren't as valuable as they would be in other years. And maybe if you are a believer that Joe Burrow's the real thing, you're more comfortable giving up those picks because you're not going to get the same value out of those picks that you ordinarily would.
Mike, there's one other point to consider here. Okay, so Mike Tannenbaum, who obviously is the former general manager of the Miami Dolphins, walked out of that organization convinced that in one of these drafts, post Tannenbaum, that they were going to do everything that they could, that Stephen Ross, above all other things, even putting the team in a hole for a little while, above all other things, wanted to get his long-term quarterback soon, very soon. If that's the case, and I absolutely believe that to be the case, that if Stephen Ross's mantra is, we need a quarterback and we have to do whatever it takes, they've been collecting all these high picks. Minka Fitzpatrick, they're collecting picks. Laramie Tunsil, they're collecting all these picks to get a guy. Now, if your guy is Joe Burrow, why would any price be too high in essence? And I'll just say one other thing. What if you're the Miami Dolphins and you really like Tua Tagovailoa and you kind of like Justin Herbert, but you don't have deep down the feeling about those 2 quarterbacks that you have about Joe Burrow? Then it's worth it to pay the insurance to get the guy you're absolutely sure about.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and we'll see how it all plays.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.